Greetings to everyone. Distinguished Professor, Associate Professor, esteemed speakers, representatives from various institutions, fellow academics, students, industry practitioners, NGOs representatives, commentators, and participants joining us both physically and online via Google Meets. Welcome to the PERSIS IEEE CSS Malaysia Lecture Series 2 2026 with the themes of innovations and entrepreneurship for a sustainable future. My name is Siri Syarahan from the Faculty of Information Science, and it's my pleasure to serve as the moderator for today's programs. Before we begin, I would like to inform all participants that the program will be conducted in a bilingual format that involves Bahasa Melayu and English. And for those who are joining us online, we kindly request that you keep your microphones muted throughout the sessions. And ladies and gentlemen, today's event marks the second edition of the PERSIS IEEE CSS Malaysia Lecture Series. The first keynote programs held in February 2026 received an encouraging response from academics, researchers, industry practitioners, and community. And for this second series, the Faculty of Information Science, UiTM, has been honored to serve as the collaborative partners or as a host alongside the PERSIS or Persatuan Sahabat Inovasi Sosial Malaysia and the IEEE Control System Society, the Malaysia chapter. On behalf of the organizer, I would like to express our sincere appreciation and gratitude to the faculty for its commitment, support, and collaboration in making this program possible. And what makes today's program especially meaningful, that it's bring together three complementary dimensions within the innovation ecosystem. The first one, related to technology and innovation implementation by Associate Professor Dr. Samsul Aizam, followed by Dr. Mazlan bin Chitso, related to governance and policy support. And number three, community empowerment through social innovation by Dr. Adila Mustafa. Ladies and gentlemen, we shall now proceed with the welcoming address and official opening ceremony. For your information, the deans of the Faculty of Information Science is currently performing Haji, and therefore is unable to be with us today. And in this absence, he has kindly delegated the responsibility to Associate Professor P.S. Dr. Muhammad Iswan bin Muhammad Saleh, the Deputy Dean's Academic for Faculty of Information Science. And it is my great pleasure to invite Dr. Iswan to deliver the welcoming speech and officially declare the program open. Dipersilakan.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and a very good morning. Distinguished representatives of the Persatuan Sahabat Inovasi Sosial Malaysia, Prof. Dr. Tarikh, Persatuan Sahabat Inovasi Sosial Malaysia, representatives of the IEEE Control System Society Malaysia chapter, respected speakers, members of the organizing committee, fellow academician, industry partners, students, and participants in the first book, physically and virtually. It's my great pleasure to welcome all of you to the second PERSIS IEEE CSS Malaysia Keynote Lecture Series 2026, jointly organized by the Faculty of Information Science, University of Madya, PERSIS, and the IEEE Control Sister Society Malaysia chapter. Today's theme, which is innovation and entrepreneurship for a sustainable future. It is both timely and important. Innovation nowadays should not be viewed merely as the creation of new technologies, products, or services. It must also serve a broader purpose to improve the well-being of the society, strengthen communities, address real-world challenges, and contribute towards a more sustainable future. Entrepreneurship in this context is equally significant. It provides a mechanism through which ideas can be translated into practical solutions with measurable social and economic gain. Impactful innovation requires collaboration across disciplines, institutions, industries, and communities. This lecture series reflects that multidisciplinary perspective. We are honored to have three distinguished speakers with us today. Our first keynote speaker, Associate Professor Dr. Samsul Aizam from University Tun Hussein on Malaysia, UiTM, will share his experiential journey in implementing advanced control system application within communities. Our second keynote speaker, Dr. Mazlan Ketso, from University of Jemputan, will discuss the alignment of social, policy, and non-governmental organization initiative in advancing sustainable innovation. Our third keynote speaker, Dr. Adila Mustafa, from the Faculty of Sains, University of Perdana, will address the role of social innovation in connecting and empowering communities for a sustainable future. These three perspectives, technological innovation, policy and governance, and community engagement, are closely interconnected. I hope that today's keynote lecture and panel discussion will stimulate meaningful dialogue, generate new ideas, and create new opportunities for future collaboration, inshallah. I also would like to express my sincere appreciation to PERSIS, the IEEE Control System Society chapter, the Faculty of Science, the organizing committee, our distinguished speakers, and everyone who have contributed toward the successful organization of this program. To all participants, I encourage you to engage actively in the discussion and make use of this platform of this valuable knowledge sharing platform. With Bismillahirrahmanirrahim, it is my honor and pleasure to officially inaugurate the second PERSIS IEEE CSS Malaysia Keynote Lecture Series 2026. Thank you. Wabillahi taufiq wal hidayah. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Alhamdulillah. Thank you, Associate Professor Dr. Muhammad Izwan Terima kasih for your remarks. And for officially opening the PERSIS IEEE CSS Malaysia PERSIS School. We also take the opportunity to convey our prayers and best wishes to the teams, and insyaAllah semoga hadirnya di Kisah Hadi yang akan. Seterusnya, ladies and gentlemen, we shall now invite a representative from the Persatuan Sahabat Inovasi Sosial Malaysia, or PERSIS, and the IEEE Control System Society Malaysia chapter. For your information, the President of PERSIS is unable to join us today, tetapi kita bawakan wakil daripada PERSIS yang tidak kurang hebat juga. So bersama kita adalah Profesor Dr. Noritawati binti Muhammad Tarikh, who serve as a member of the Executive Council of PERSIS and also representative the IEEE Control System for Society for Malaysia. And silakan Prof untuk dapat bagi menyampaikan.
Thank you. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Thank you, Dr. Zaidi. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh dan salam sejahtera. Good morning, thank you. Saya bisingkan Dr. Zaidi. I prepared mine in bahasa Malaysia. I don't know why I did it. Because saya terbiasa buat bahasa UiTM kan. However, let me give a brief introduction of myself. I am Noritawati Muhammad Tarikh from Fakulti of Electrical Engineering. Okay. I was the chapter chair for IEEE Control System Society for 4 years. Previous Prof was 6 years. I was for 4 years until end of 2025, which in 2026 Dr. Hazri took over. Okay. So, like what has been mentioned by Dr. Zaidi previously, Prof. Nasir could not join us. He is actually the president of Persatuan Sahabat Inovasi Sosial PERSIS, which has been established in 2023. Yeah? We are still young, less than 3. I think we are now only 3 years old. You just imagine how 3 years old what can 3 years old? We are still learning actually. First of all, I wish to thank Fakulti Sains Maklumat, UiTM for having us and for this great collaboration with PERSIS and IEEE Control System Society. Thank you, Dr. Iswan and team, for this having us for this keynote lecture series 2, titled Innovation and Entrepreneurship for a Sustainable Future. Okay. So what you have seen, actually the theme is in line with the needs, with the current needs, where we need to actually strengthen the community around us and let's help them. So PERSIS is actually an NGO. I joined PERSIS as one of the pioneers. It was like only 5 of us, and now we have more than we have like 20 members. So I nak buat marketing sikit lah, recruit membership. We kindly invite everyone to join PERSIS, to be part of us. Membership recruitment is always open. You can ask. We will share our Facebook link later at the chat. Oh, okay. Dr. Azhar dah share dah. Thank you. Okay, so the next question I will ask, what is actually the benefit of us joining PERSIS? Okay, so first, what we in PERSIS we are doing we integrate the element of innovation, okay, and sustainability in most of our program, okay, and where actually we help the community, especially yang di luar bandar, yeah. So some of our programs actually we collaborate with Yayasan Inovasi Malaysia, with MOSTI and many kementerian di peringkat negeri. Hence, therefore, I humbly invite everyone to join us as our member so that we can, as a team, contribute to the development of our community in the social innovation aspects, yeah, via PERSIS. As for IEEE, or as we know, Institute of Electrical and Electronics Engineers, is actually a professional body, one of the largest in the world, with the HQ in the US. And our thing is actually advancing technology for humanity. So one of the function of IEEE is actually to actually provide a platform globally for sharing session, researching, and collaborate professionally, yeah, via conferences, seminars like this, in our community engagement around globally. So for this keynote lecture series 2, as what mentioned earlier, we have 3 great speakers. Let's listen to them, yeah, and that's what they're going to share us their expertise, yeah, and their experience, okay. We on behalf of PERSIS and IEEE CSS, we wish to thank of course, the Faculty of Technology Maklumat for having us, and also to our 3 speakers, okay, for willingly be part of us in this second series. I just mentioned their name, yeah. Thank you to Dr. Shamsul from UTHM. He is also a member of CSS. Thank you, Dr. Mazlan bin Chetso from Fakulti Sains Pentadbiran dan Pengajian Policy UiTM. He is from part of PERSIS, yeah, our first secretary, right? Yeah. Lepas tu dia tak jawatan, pandai. Bukan tak jawatan, habis tapi tak nak jadi dah. Dia puas second. And thank you, Dr. Adila Mustafa, representing Fakulti Sains Maklumat, for also going to share with us her experience. May this keynote lecture series 2 give us new beautiful ideas on how we can be more actively and contribute, okay, to the development of social innovation to our community. With that, I end my short remarks. Yeah. Thank you. Wabillahi taufiq wal hidayah. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Prof. for your remarks, and continued support towards social innovations, collaboration between community empowerment initiative. Jadi saya mengambil peluang sekali lagi untuk memflower tuan-tuan yang ada skill dari online untuk menyertai PERSIS, ada di-sharekan dalam box untuk FB PERSIS tadi aktif. Baiklah, seterusnya tuan-tuan dan puan-puan, we now move to the main segments for today's program, which featuring 3 distinguished keynote speaker, dan ketika mereka mempunyai pengalaman, expertise dan juga experience dalam bidang masing-masing dan menariknya melibatkan aktiviti berkaitan social innovation. And innovation does not happen in isolation. It requires ideas, collaboration, leadership, and most importantly, a commitment yang akan menghasilkan impact yang bermakna. So, our today's keynote series has been carefully designed to explore innovation from three connected dimensions. As I said earlier, first, technology and innovation implementation, and then number two, governance and policy supports, and number three, community empowerment, social innovation. And together, this dimension demonstrates how innovation can move beyond concept and become a catalyst for sustainable change. And for the benefits of all participants, I would also like to inform you that our first and second keynote speaker will be joining us virtually, while our third keynote speaker hadir bersama kita physically pada pagi ini. Dan kita ucapkan terima kasih kepada kesemua speaker di atas komitmen dan perlibatan bagi program pada hari ini. Untuk maklumat, sesi question and answer will be held after all three keynote presentation have concluded. Bagi partisipan yang menghadiri sesi ini secara Google Meet atau online, saya atau kami mengalu-alukan untuk anda semua menghantar soalan pada masa ini ataupun selepas pembentangan melalui chat box dalam Gmail, yang mana pihak sekretariat akan kumpulkan dan akan ditaruhkan pada akhir sesi ini. Baiklah, let's begin with our first keynote speaker. Let's introduce Associate Professor Dr. Samsul Aizan bin Zulkifli. Our first keynote speaker, he is currently served as an Associate Professor in the Department of Electrical Engineering, Faculty of Electrical and Electronic Engineering, UiTM, and also hold the positions of Principal College at UiTM. He obtained his PhD in Control Engineering from Loughborough University, United Kingdom, and has led numerous research projects related to EV, renewable energy, and smart grid technology. Today, he will be delivering a keynote lecture titled From Labs to Communities, an experiential journey by UiTM in implementing advanced control system application. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming Associate Professor Dr. Samsul Aizan. Doctor, the floor is yours.
Yes, Assalamualaikum. Thank you, Dr. Chairman. So can I have the screen to be shared?
Sekejap, betul ya?
Okay, boleh, Dr. Oh, pakai slide yang saya beri sorry. So this is will be controlled by the organizer or will be controlled by me? So I have also my slide to be shared. So just I want to know, is it this will be controlled by the organizer or I can control my slide. Can you hear me? Sorry. Sorry, can you hear me?
Okay. Boleh cakap sekali lagi tak?
Doktor boleh dengar ke doktor?
Dengar.
Cuma slide ni saya control ke atau sebab saya ada share saya punya slide.
Kalau doktor nak kami kontrol pun okey, ataupun doktor nak kontrol.
Saya control sendiri lah doktor sebab saya ada dekat sharing saya ada buat kat sharing. Okey.
Okey dah.
Much better lah saya boleh control saya punya. Okey. Okay, dah boleh start ke doktor? Ke just saya nak kena ada give few minutes?
Boleh start.
Okay, saya dah. Okay, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh and very good morning. First of all, I would like to say thank you to Dr. Chairman. Then also thank you to Fakulti Sains, Maklumat, UiTM, Persatuan Sahabat Inovasi Sosial, and also IEEE Control Society Malaysia chapter, who invited me to be a presenter for this event, which is a very wonderful event consisting of Persatuan Inovasi Sosial with the IEEE Control Society Malaysia chapter. So it's a great pleasure for me to share. Basically, this is a sharing experience from labs to community that what I have done for my UTHM basically in terms of advanced control application. So I would like, without further ado, I would like again to thank everyone who joining virtually and also being physical in UiTM. My presentation will be from labs to community and experiential journey by UTHM implementing advanced control application. I would like to introduce myself. My name is Samsul Aizam bin Zulkifli. I'm from University Tun Hussein On Malaysia, Fakulti of Electrical and Electronic Engineering, and also I'm a member of IEEE Control Society Malaysia chapter. Okay, before this presentation will be divided into three parts. One is about my introduction of myself. The second part is on the labs, consists of what we have done for UTHM in advanced control application. Then at the end of the presentation, I will share some communities works that been done using the advanced control application that conducted by UTHM. So first of all, I would like to introduce myself as a UTHM staff member. So this is my journey since 2004 in UTHM. Before it was a college university Tun Hussein On. I hope everybody knows what is Kuito. Maybe nobody know about UTHM, but if I mention about Kuito, maybe most of you know what is a Kuito. So basically, Kuito is just to give some introduction of the UTHM. Is in Batu Pahat, Tarikh Raja. So this is where's the UTHM. So I'm been the members of UTHM since 2004 as a tutor. Then continue. Then I did my masters in UPM for 2000 from 2003 to 2006. Then I returned back as a lecturer and senior lecturer from 2006 to 2012. So I did my PhD in 2008 to 2012 in Loughborough University in UK. Then in 2018, so in 2008, 2012 and 2018 as a senior lecturer in UTHM, and now in 2018 until now I still associate professor. I was a head of department before in Faculty of Electrical Engineering, as a head of department of postgraduate study. Then now currently I'm a deputy principal, one for Polis Kediaman Luar Campus UTHM. So I changed my portfolio from academic to non-academic, which is more to the student activity at the time being. So maybe in 1 or 2 years I need to come back to faculty to serve, to be a full-time faculty members. So before that, I need to address what I have achieved in control research area. So this is my research area, more on the robust control on powertronics application, parallel inverter application, and smart grid topology for inverter grid connection. So basically, it's more to advanced control application research. But at the same time, I need to apply for the labs, and also I need to apply to the communities. So I would like to share to every one of you. So this is my supervisor and my co-supervisor for my PhD, and also from for my masters. Maybe what some of you knows them. For my PhD studies is by Prof Chin Chang. He's now in US. Now, the second one, my master's supervisor is Prof. Norman Marion. So I believe some of you know it's Norman Marion. Then I have my co-supervisor, Prof. Wan Chen from Loughborough University, and also from Dr. Hashim Hizam from UPM, and also Dr. Nur Hizi from UPM. This is my gurus on control. So because I learned more control since when I did my master's. During my undergraduate, so I'm not focusing more to control, but when I joined my master's until now, so my research is more involving on the master's, on the control topology and control structure. So this is my genealogy. So this is how my network in PhD, basically from my supervisor to my supervisor to my previous supervisor. So this is just a genealogy of the supervision on the PhD program. So later I have shared this document to the doctor. Then maybe you can see from it later on. So this is my research team in UTHM. Basically, this is my research team known as Advanced Control in Power Converter team at UTHM. So basically I'm the main principal investigator and also the main supervisor for all my students. So currently I have 8 students being graduated under my PhD duration. So I've completed 8 of them. Most of them are international students. Nowadays they are working in their hometowns, and some of them are working in Middle East. So I have another 4 students for my PhD. Then I have another 1 student for my master's. So this is how I developed the control theory application by ACPC. So ACPC stands for Advanced Control Power Converter Group. So this is my group. So as can be seen here, if you look from the table, basically our investigation has been separated into 4 categories: conventional control, robust control, autonomous control, and AI control. So just to give some idea, conventional control, basically I will deliver this technique to my undergraduate student, especially for final year student. They will do the testing on the very not simple, it's a very general control structure, such as a PE controller, PI controller, and PID controller. Then we move to when some of them are doing PhD or master, we move to the robust control. So if you look here, the robust control, such as the H infinity, I have done the H infinity controller. So the MP model predictive control also, we have done the model predictive control development and also the time delays. So the improvement consideration why we use the robust control basically is for the variable parameter for input and outputs. So basically most of these techniques I have conducted since 2008, since my PhD program, because my PhD is more to H infinity control, then up to 2018. So we have tested the H infinity MPC and a time delay control for the postgraduate program. So at the end, we need to have, so the usage basically is a mathematical development, development and for paper publication. So nowadays, my team, basically we are moving to autonomous control. We are moving to the autonomous control and AI control. So this is where the trend of control basically are going. So in autonomous control, I just give you some sharing. So we are talking about the sensorless control. We have developed the sensorless control for EV. Then we have also developed a cycle converter control for EV, EV charging state operation. So this is also based on the PhD program of PhD student. So basically what the output is a mathematical development for paper publication. So this is what is the target lah, because I believe most of academic, they need to have their student to publish their works in any journal publication. So nowadays we are working on the AI control. So this is quite challenging because this is quite faster control, what you call theory involvement, because AI now is very, very fast. So we try to manage to what you call to speed up our research work. At least we can learn about the AI control for the future. So basically the number basically if you look here for the conventional up to the AI, so robust control up to the AI control is more to the postgraduate program. So the conventional control, if you can see from here, basically conventional control, this is where we change from lab to communities. So this is where the title is coming in. So we have the next one will be on the labs output that we have conducted in UTSM. Then at the end of the presentation, there will be some community works or funded by the UTSM and also from the ministry in order to apply the control that we have done in labs to be learned by the communities. Later on, I will share it to you during my presentation. So now we move to the first one is lab. So basically the lab is the basic for me. It's a basic fundamental process if we want to move to the community. Without lab, I think I also cannot go for the community project, which is funded by the ministry or funded by the UTSM itself. So I will share some labs that we have conducted, project that we have conducted in UTSM, especially for undergraduate students using the advanced control application. So this is the So this is the project. Okay, basically when we talk about control system, we need to have the complete structure of the system. So the controller, basically if I'm a control person, so the controller is only at this green box. So any controller that you want to build, you need to upload it to this green box. So this green box is basically to be a brain of the application. So in this case, basically we're trying to have some application on the single phase inverter. So I will not go in details because at least I want to share to you that by labs, then we can move to the community works. So this shows that the capability of the standard process, the beginning process to learn about the controller, to test in the lab before we can move to the community. So this is the first lab that we have tested since 2012 after I returned back from my PhD with the undergraduate student and with the masters and also postgraduate student. Basically, we just want to test the control. We're not developing a new system, which in our focus is only on to change the control capability. So this is the first project. So next we have the second project. We are talking about the different topology, but the controller is the same. So the lab condition should be there. So we need to test. We need to give some experience to the student, and also to show to the student what will be the output. This is the signal, because my policy basically the best thing is to learn from the lab, because we cannot have a good student if just they're doing on the mathematical modeling. So the best the students should learn from the lab, then they will know that what will be the output of every system or every controller that they have developed. So this is the second project, single phase rectifier. I call it as a single phase rectifier. So this is what the output we need to achieve. So basically the student able to achieve, but it's in the low scale value. So now next again we have a lot of lab module, lab hardware that being constructed by the student and also by me. Basically, we are doing the same parallel process or parallel technique in order to make sure that the student can gain more from me. So the second one is on the also the same things. If you can look here, this is more on the topology, the diagram. So the most important thing is on the control parts. So the control parts, maybe I will not sharing here because it's not too fundamental. I cannot have two mathematical equation because it's quite difficult to be understand. So at least I can show to you that this is how the lab started before we can move to the community. So everything is about the control. So we just play around with this control part with the green diagram in order to make sure that it can be applied to any application. So now we have another one. So same, we are using in most of our technique, we are using low cost microcontroller. So low cost microcontroller basically is if you heard about the Arduino, if you heard about a Raspberry Pi, if you heard about the TI microcontroller, this is a low cost. Why I say that a low cost? Because the student can purchase it because it's just around 100 ringgit, 200 ringgit. So this is they need to develop because this is my encouragement to all my students, especially for the undergraduate student, before they leave the university, they can able to know how to troubleshoot, they know how to make the PCB, how to soldering. So these skills are very, very important before they left UiTM, especially to my group. Now this is another one. So if you look here, so this project basically is not just last 3 or 4 years. It's since I returned back 2012 up to now. So it's almost 14 years. We did this project. Every year there will be different students develop the different topology of the controller, but they use the same model of the system. But at the end, they gain the experience on the controller itself and how to build the circuit. So this is what I'm targeting for the students. So this is another project. So especially basically this is more on the lab works activity. So this lab work activity basically at the end what the output here, if you look here, the blue one, this is the output. So the output basically is determined by me. I will say that this is correct, this is wrong. So the student will do that because this is undergraduate student. They cannot predict what will be the output. So I need to I need to make sure that they did the correct way in order to have a correct output. I not say that this is a perfect output because undergraduate student that yes there has a lot of what they call time constraint. So at least I can guide them to get as what is will be the output, not the perfect output because it's a time constraint of the student. So at least they can appreciate what they learn, especially for UiTM student. They are learned during the 4 years in UiTM. From the first day and at the end of the last day, they have some experience on the hardware testing, microcontroller development, and also what will be the output they can predict. So this is another one. So we are using on the same. Everything is about the lab consideration. So we have some technique, real-time simulation. So this is for the lab works. So again, we have lots. We have also using on single phase using the Raspberry. So this is the Raspberry controller. So I believe if you are in Fakulti Science Computer, you heard about the Raspberry microcontroller, and also you have heard about the Arduino microcontroller because Raspberry, we know that the Raspberry can be a motherboard. So we can create a mini computer using only the Raspberry microcontroller because this is look like a motherboard. We just need to plug in the storage. We just need to plug in the AV in order to make sure that we can have a mini computer design. So the Raspberry, I think, is quite popular in science computer. So again, we have control model development. Everything is almost the same. If you look here, the diagram, the circuit diagram is almost the same, but the difference is on this green diagram. Is the green. Sometimes we are using TI, sometimes we're using Arduino, sometimes we're using Raspberry. The controller is different. Sometimes we use, because we are talking about the conventional control. So I just focus on PID, PI, because this is what they have learned during their undergraduate programs. And then at the end, we want to make sure that the output is running. So if you can see from here, the output is running. We can see the motor is running based on the program itself in the controller itself. So it shows that the capability of students to understand about the control, and also at the end they know that what they are targeting of the control elements. So now we have another one. Again, most L6, meaning that is lab number 6. We have too many lab projects. So I just selected a few to share with you. So this is the lab project basically conducted by mostly of my students. Now we are talking about, so basically only the topology is different, but the controller will be the same process. They need to use the microcontroller. Then they need to use this digital processing control. So this is just based on the microcontroller. So this is the publication that we have did for this lab. So as we can see from this, as I can see from the, I shared to everyone. So every project that we have conducted in lab, basically we try to publish, especially in IEEE conference. To show that these students are able to have a good output, and also they have the ability to make a good publication. So it's not compulsory to everyone, but when I see that they have a good output, they have some good result, then we try to publish most of the project in the IEEE conference, especially in control system that I'm one of the members. So we are trying to publish in control system. So at least I, as a supervisor, appreciate the works that been conducted by the students. Now we move to the communities. So now from labs, we have done a lot of things since 2012 up to now. So now we move to the community. What we have done for the communities. First, this is the first things that we have done for the community, for IoT, for boiler heat display. This is, we have some budget by UTHM. It's around 20,000 ringgit. So we need to build this IoT for boiler heat display, because basically they are talking about the IoT and the controller. But now when we talk about the community doesn't want to see only the controller itself. They want to see some advancements. So where the advancement is coming in is when I introduce or apply the IoT. So during that time, IoT is the main focus. But today's most of them are talking about AI. So the IoT last 5 years is a very, very popular words or keywords that been said by everyone. But nowadays, no more. They're talking about the AI, ChatGPT, Gemini. So IoT is become disappeared based on the times consideration. So this is the first project that we have achieved, okay, by the UTHM. We have managed to get some 20,000 ringgit. So the UTHM asked us, especially from me, because they see from the labs that we have conducted, how can you have some IoT for boiler heat display? Just a very, not too difficult, but it's how it's been implemented, the controller, because we need to have the sensor, we need to have the controller to controller respond, and again to see the output at the display on the smart meter or in the on the smartphones. So this is this is because the boiler is not too big. Just because the university just give me the 20,000 ringgit. Plus with this 20,000 ringgit, we need to pay the pekerja, the GRA, for the GRA to have this network. So it's not too big. Basically, it's just 20,000. Most 70% is go to the GRA. So basically, it's just a very quick project because the boiler is not too big. It's just small boiler. They just want to test, is it feasible to use this technique. So we have conducted several experiments. So this is what the first layout that we have achieved. We doesn't have a good box, but just a very simple idea. Okay, for this 20,000 ringgit. So and now next, when we have established this one, we have another one which is same IoT. So this is more if you look there, the box is more complex. Not complex, it's more nice to see compared to the previous one. It's not nice to see. So you can see the complexity, not the complex, how the box has been arranged. So basically this project is for the base power monitoring system for real-time data tracking. So again, this is given by the university, same amount, because the amount is 20K. Last time I have some balance, so we did the same project, the IoT project. In this slide, or I've shared this slide also to the organizer. Maybe you can see some video that I share in this links lah. So there's a link in terms of the power monitoring based on the IoT. Again, we are using the STM32. We are using a microcontroller. So again, there will be a control application inside this control structure. Basically, for community, we just a very common or very versatile. Is just yes, doctor.
5 minutes.
Okay, thank you, doctor. Okay, this is the second one. Okay, this is the latest one that conducted by me. This is funded by Madani at community setempat, which is I have 100,000 ringgit. So it's quite big. So what this project is about the rumah cendawan. We call it as a rumah cendawan. So rumah cendawan here, we need to have a lot of parameters. So if you look here, there's a lot of parameter that we need to measure to model against. Controller is there, so we need to apply everything that we have learned from the labs. Now we have more money, so we have a system itself. So then we need to build their own system. We need to put a lot of sensor, temperature sensor, humidity sensor, motion sensor. So it's more complex. The project will become more complex because we have a good funding. But this is it's not finished yet because it's still ongoing, because it's required us to finish in between 1.5 years. So this is what we have achieved. So this is, we can see some monitoring, that security that we have conducted for implemented in this project for the communities. So this is some graphical analysis for the humidity. Maybe you can see this is just recently conducted. If you look from the graph, is in January 2026. So this is the complete. So we have 3 set of this rumah cendawan in Batu Pahat. Sorry, in Parit Raja. There will be 3 locations. Basically, we need to monitor everything using the IoT platform, but we need to use the automatic control structure in terms of how we can operate the operations. So also there will be some video, if you like to see the video of some of the works that we have done for these community projects. So that's all, I think. This is thank you everyone for listening. And this is if you want to see my own personal website, and then you can scan my QR code here. Again, I would like to say thank you to everyone to participate, to join this online session. Sorry, I cannot come in because of the time consuming, and also some works that I cannot go. I need to complete in UTSM. Again, I would like to say thank you to everyone. Thank you to Doctor, and also thank you to the Fakulti Sains, Persatuan Sabah University, and IEEE Control Society. Thank you. I pass back to the Dr. Chair.
Thank you. Okay. Okay, thank you, Associate Professor Dr. Samsul Aizan. Samsul Aizan bin Zulkifli, satu pengembangan yang clearly demonstrated how advanced control system research, we can move beyond laboratory experimentations and academics publication to create practical solution that finally benefits the communities. Once again, terima kasih, Dr. Samsul.
Terima kasih, Dr.
Yeah, we have seen how UiTM, led by the teams, especially Dr. Samsul Aizan, has successfully transformed engineering knowledge into real application. Bagaimana yang bermula daripada lab, kemudian melibatkan pelajar, academics, undergraduate as well, daripada inverter and power converter technologies, and then IoT-based monitoring system, energy management solution, and finally smart farming initiative. And more importantly, the presentation today highlighted the importance of nurturing students and young researchers through hands-on learning experiences, and finally enabling them to contribute not only to scientific advancement but also to community development and societal well-being. Thank you once again for sharing UiTM journey from labs to the community.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, our second keynote speakers brings a vast experience in public administration, social policy, civil society, and non-governmental organization. Dr. Mazlan Tirso is currently a senior lecturer at the Faculty of Administrative Science and Policy Study, UiTM Negeri Sembilan, and he obtained his PhD from UM, specializing in public administrations, with particularly emphasis on civil society, third sector administration, NGOs, and social policy. Throughout his distinguished career, he has been actively involved in the various professional and civil society organizations and has contributed significantly to policy development and social advocacy initiatives at national level. He has published more than 150 scholarly and professional works, including journals, articles, book chapters, newspaper commentaries, and frequently features in mainstream media as a commentator on public policy, government, and political issues. Among his notable contributions are his involvement in the development of the Malaysian Sports Industry Master Plan and the Malaysian Social Innovation Policy. He is also actively engaged in consultancy works related to social impact assessment and currently serves as the Assistant Secretary of the Malaysian Associations of Social Impact Assessment. Today, he will be delivering a keynote lecture with the title Governance for Growth, Aligning Social Policy and NGO Initiative for Sustainable Innovation. Tuan-tuan dan puan-puan sekalian, please join me in welcoming Dr. Mazlan Tirso.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. Boleh dengar ke suara saya? My voice, is it clear? Okay. If possible, the Secretariat boleh tak kalau share the slide?
Doktor nak control sendiri ataupun Secretariat?
Secretariat, kalau boleh Secretariat control, boleh? Okay. Alright. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Distinguished guests, my fellow panelists, Professor IRTS Dr. Muhammad Nasir bin Taib, Chairman of Persatuan Sahabat Inovasi Sosial, and I think we have here also a representative from PERSIS, Prof Norita, and colleagues from IEEE CSS Malaysia chapter, ladies and gentlemen. So, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and a very good day to all of you. First of all, I'd like to thanks for the invitation and trust that placed in me to stand here to be your speaker for this remarkable series. And of course, I just like to begin my presentation with a very simple question. How many of us actually witness an innovation project? And maybe that innovation project is actually very brilliant in technology, very well funded, maybe award-winning project. And yet, maybe 3 years later, the community that's supposed to serve felt absolutely no difference in their life. So this is exactly the problem that I want to talk about today. This is actually the talk not about the technology that wasn't good enough, but then we are talking about another spectrum, which is governance, the administrative backbone that was never strong enough to carry the innovation into the sustainable reality. Okay, next slide, please. Okay, so the title of my presentation today is actually Governance for Growth, Aligning Social Policy and NGO Initiative for Sustainable the Innovation. Okay, the slide yang previous, the second slide. Okay, so the presentation roadmap, I have 30 minutes here, and then this is actually the roadmap that we have for 30 minutes. I have divided into 4 sections. So the first section, I try to allocate the first 5 minutes to that I will walk you through the gap between the innovation and policy, why that good technology does not automatically produce good outcomes. Okay, then next 10 minutes, perhaps maybe the longest section, we are going to explore the governance frameworks for social enterprise, and then what government or NGOs or civil society and administrators need to put in place. And I will touch the next following section a little bit on the things that may be close to my heart. And that is actually my primary consulting field, that we will dive into the social impact assessment, or SIA. And how do we measure real change, not just numbers on a report. And then the final 5 minutes, I will close with a challenge, with a call to action that, for everyone in this room to think about it. Okay, so let's begin with the first section. All right, so the policy innovation gap. Okay, so this section 1 on the policy innovation gap, the objective of this section is actually very straightforward. That I want you to really understand why governance is the engine that behind any innovation that truly works. Okay, next. There are 3 points that appears in the slides. The point number 1 is actually about the technology that without administration is fails. So I encounter this constantly in my consulting work. An agency or maybe a company that arrives with a genuinely brilliant piece of technology. All right, a community health data system, for instance, and also maybe an e-learning platform for rural areas, or maybe a mobile application that designed for indigenous communities. Okay, but when we ask who will manage this 5 years from now, who will train the local people to use it, and then how that will it be funded after the pilot grant maybe runs out? Okay, so this is precisely what I meant. The technological innovation frequently fails to gain traction in communities without parallel administrative innovation. So the governance must move alongside with technology. There's not trail behind it. Okay, then the point number 2 is actually about the research to policy translation gap. This is one of the most maybe stubborn problems in academia. Maybe I say to this as an academic myself. As an academics, we write, we publish, we present at a conference, but we must honestly ask ourselves how much of our research actually find its way into government policy. How much of it sits inside journal read by perhaps 3 people in the world. Okay, so maybe the gap between research output and long-term policy impact. So that is actually the critical bottleneck between the academic world and also real world change. And the point number 3 is actually about the third sector as a bridge. And this is where the NGOs and civil society should play an irreplaceable role. NGOs are not merely charitable organizations. They are bridges. They are connecting research laboratories to end users in the field. They are the vehicles or conduit through which administrative innovations reach community at the ground level. I believe that without them, our innovation will never find any solid ground. Okay, now we move to the section 2 of my presentation, that we are talking about governance framework for social enterprise. Okay, so the objective of this section is actually that I want to show on how administrative structure either enable or obstruct social entrepreneurship. Okay, let's look into the next slide on the 3 pillars that I propose, that these 3 foundational pillars. The pillars number 1 is actually policy instruments. Malaysia actually already has a strong foundation to build on. Okay, we have this Madani framework that introduced by the government to reflect the right instinct. It plays justice. It actually come together with the sustainability and community at the center of any national development. But Madani must be translated into concrete policy instruments, not just merely a theme or slogan for program branding. All right, so sometimes we also known as the government of slogan. So this is not just supposed to be a slogan or just only for the program branding or political motivation kind of initiative. What the social enterprise need is regulatory ability and stability, and an environment where they know clearly what is permitted, what is supported, and what is being protected. So if policy shift every time is a change in administration, and no social entrepreneur will commit to a long-term investment. So there is actually the risk. So we cannot build sustainable innovation on foundation that changes every 5 years. Okay, the pillar 2 is actually on the NGO management. Okay, when a social innovation project succeeds at the pilot stage, the pressure built to scaling up. And this is precisely where many NGOs is actually stumble. Best practices for NGOs managing innovation project revolve around 3 things. The first is actually transparency and accountability. We here talk about clear reporting, clean finance, credible governance to boards and also to funders. Second is actually operational efficiency without compromising the mission. And the third is actually the most, I think, critical, is avoiding mission drift. So mission drift happen when an NGO start as community health organization, for instance, but after receiving a large grant, gradually become an IT contractor. So they shift their mission already, because that is what the funder wants. And then the original mission is actually suddenly disappears. So the community they were supposed to serve get left behind because of this drift. So if we lost our mission in the pursuit of funding, we have already failed the communities that we promised to serve. So this is actually a sad things to happen. And the pillar number 3 is actually administrative clarity. This is perhaps the most appreciated pillars of all. Administrative clarity means that a social entrepreneur knows precisely who to contact, which form to submit, how long an approval process should take, and who is accountable if something goes wrong. When the clarity does not exist, we create what we call as a bureaucratic friction, the kind of friction that kills innovative spirit before it even has a chance to breathe. In my consulting experience, I have seen projects that were outstanding in their conception, but their founders eventually gave up, not because the idea was wrong, but because they were exhausted navigating an administrative process that had no clear pathway, no clear owner, and no clear timeline. So there is a failure of governance, not a failure of innovations. Okay, so now we look a little bit on the social impact assessment. All right, so the objective of this section is actually to give a concrete method for ensuring that the innovations were implemented are genuinely sustainable, not just an impressive in annual reports. And this is actually the section that may be close to my heart, because this is my primary field of consulting practices now. I also representing the Malaysian Association of a Social Impact Assessment, or known as MSIA. Okay, and currently I serve as an assistant secretary, and I also like to take this opportunity to maybe invite and welcome everyone to be our members. And the role of MSIA is actually, with the motto of serving the society, is to undertake the critical part in our national development project in doing the social impact assessment. Perhaps everyone is aware that we have few impact studies that we need to carry out before any kind of national or development project. We have environmental impact assessment. Maybe we have also heard about traffic impact assessment. We have also heritage impact assessment, health impact assessment, and this social impact assessment is one of the assessment that governed by the law, Akta Perancang Bandar, by the Plan Malaysia, and also execute as well as by the local authorities. So this is actually one of the things that very important in order to make sure that all the development is actually should be minimized in terms of impact, either positive or negative towards to the people itself. So next slide is actually we look at the SIA is actually the tools, and then this is not a checklist. Sometimes people might think that SIA is only a checklist, and then this is not just only merely for any audit purposes, but then SIA is actually an innovation and assessment that beyond outputs. All right. And the most important question in any innovation project. Okay, so is this project truly meeting the needs of community? So this is actually always the philosophy behind the SIA research, and or is it just simply generating short-term hype? SIA is a shift our evaluation from outputs, how many that we were trained, how much that was spent, and what that we built. Now we're moving towards to the outcomes. What actually changed in people's life? All right. So that distinction is actually everything. So I just like to share three cases from my own consulting experience. The case number one is actually we did this for Tenaga Nasional, and then this is actually the power plant in Kapar. Okay, so the power plant in Kapar is actually already been shut down for a few years back. Okay, so this power plant is actually coal-fired power plant previously. So the project proponent of this project plan to change to gas. So this is actually one of the initiative by them to taking care on the environment, because there is actually affect the society surrounding the power plant in Kappa. So the issue is that when this is actually far beyond the environment compliance, the central concern was the social impact on surrounding communities, the issue on health of residents, the livelihood of fishermen in nearby waters, and also the relationship between the community and also the plant management, because nearby is actually the kebun kecil kelapa sawit. So SNIA, when we did SIA, that actually enable us to systematically identify who was most affected, the one that direct impact from this project. And then we document their concerns throughout the structured engagement, and we build mitigation recommendation that could be defended before regulatory authorities. So without SIA, I believe that those community voice would have remained invisible in the decision-making process. And the case number 2 is actually we did last year in Parker. This is also, the challenge was a little bit different compared to Kappa. A gas turbine plant expansion affected coastal fishing communities that whose entire livelihood dependent on the sea. So the SIA in Parker actually taught me something that I carry into every project since, the local and indigenous knowledge in legitimate data. A fisherman who has worked those waters for 30 years know more about fish migration patterns and tidal behavior than any technical report written from an office in Kuala Lumpur. When we incorporated that knowledge into the planning phase, not as an afterthought, but as a primary source, the outcomes were more scientifically sound and far more accepted by the community. So because people support what they help to build. And the case number 3 is actually about a new highway, a new Pantai Expressway an extension of the NPE currently. And the project is just about to begin the construction. So the NPE2 is actually a major urban infrastructure project by IJM. And here SIA had to address some of the most sensitive issues in development work, because this is actually been built as an urban highway in a very high populated areas. We are talking about population displacement, although not many, but then there are few houses is actually affected for the pengambilan. And then of course, when we are talking about construction in very highly populated areas, we are talking about noise impact and the destruction of livelihood for the resident and traders along the corridor. So what I learned from the MPE2 that infrastructure SIA, community communication is not optional, is an obligation. And I found that when residents are given genuine space to speak, not merely inform a decision that already been made, they are far more prepared to accept the change. So not because they agree with everything, but because they feel respected in the process. So this is actually the difference between SIA that done very well or SIA done as a formality. So I think we need to move forward in also to address, the concern by the people that, really much affected by any kind of national project. Okay, then next slide. In managing stakeholder expectation through SIA, in any project involving SIA, we consistently face 3 groups of stakeholders with very different agendas. Okay, so, and our job is to bring them to the same table. The first is actually local authorities. They are the regulatory gatekeepers and government agencies. They want compliance. They have law, they have guideline, they have all the peraturan behind them, and then what they want is actually compliance. They want documentation, proper documentation. They want a proper process that follow procedures. SIA provide them with the evidence based on fulfill those requirements and to defend their decisions to the public, because as a public office, at the end, they are accountable all their decision to the public. And the second group that is most concerning nowadays actually NGOs and civil societies, our implementation partners. They have the deepest insight into the community dynamics. They know who is truly affected and whose voice is consistently left out of formal consultations. SIA validate the program effectiveness to funders, and that is critical for their long-term financial sustainability. So I think if everyone, maybe some of you still remember the KIDEX, Kinrara Damansara Expressway, there are NGOs that have been formed, say no to KIDEX. So because of this say no to KIDEX, the government is actually forced to cancel that highway, although that there are some initiative now to revive back that project. Okay, so with a few major changes in alignment and whatnot, because of pressure from the NGOs and civil society. So this is actually show how that, you know, the gap between what that we want to translate in terms of policy intention to the life that reality faced by the people that represent by the NGOs and civil society. And last but not least, if we're talking about private sector, they are the resources and they are the skill enablers. CSR is no longer just philanthropic. SIA provides concrete social impact data, and that can be directly linked to corporate investment. And more importantly, SIA de-risks private sector involvement in social innovation. Company with solid SIA data that find it very significant and easier to attract investors and also maintain their social license in order to operate. So SIA is the common language that allows all three of this group to have a productive conversation at the same table. And without it, they are often speaking past each others entirely. Okay, now let's move to the next slide on the very brief on the SIA process. Okay, we have at least 5 steps. Next slide, please. Okay, the first is actually, this is actually how they explain how the SIA actually work in practice. So we have step 1 is actually to do scoping and context. So this is actually where that we define the project boundaries very clearly. We determine who is actually affected, and then what are the baseline, that social condition before the project begins. Okay, never begin an SIA without a clear and documented baseline. Otherwise, you have nothing to measure a change and against anything. So this is why we are always doing it through the what you call as a zone of influence. Okay, we have a primary zone of influence and also the secondary zone of influence. So that one is very technical. So if you want to know more, then you please come and join us as a member in MSIA. So we have all the courses and training, you know, to share all of this. And step number 2 is very important. We need to do the community engagement because this is not an information briefing session. Okay, so when we are doing community engagement in SIA, this is not about giving taklimat or giving, you know, info. This is actually a genuinely two-way process. Okay, we use a participatory methods. We listen to indigenous and local knowledge. We create deliberate space for voices that are typically marginalized in formal processes. If we are going through the elite highway, we can see that at the Gamuda have a very big project there. So my friend is actually doing this SIA at this Gamuda project. They need to talk to the indigenous people there. You know, they're talking about nak kena remove, nak kena alihkan kubur and whatnot. So very tedious process because we are talking about different culture and different belief and whatnot. So this is actually the way that how SIA is actually very important in this stage. And step number 3 is actually impact prediction. So this is actually very important that based on the data that we gather, we assess what are the probable positive and negative social outcome. We use evidence-based framework that can be stand to scrutiny from the regulators and funders and communities. And the most important thing is actually mitigation and planning. So we co-design mitigation ataupun in SIA we call a social impact management plan. In EIA we have EMP, environmental management plan. They're the same principle. That is all the strategies that together with all the relevant parties, community, NGO, relevant authorities, that you know we must make sure that all the things that we already highlighted in the impact must be mitigated properly to make sure that we can lower down, minimize all the negative especially, and we want to maximize all the positive impact. And the step 5, the last step is actually about monitoring and review. And this is actually the step most commonly forgotten. Institutional, the feedback loop, and the SIA should not be one-time final report. It should be a living accountability system that continue for the duration of the social project beyond. So the monitoring part in SIA in Malaysia is still at the very early stage compared to EIA that already in place for almost 30 to 40 years. So SIA just around maybe 15 or 20 years. So the mechanism of monitoring and review still developing. So, but then I can see that there are a seriousness in terms of this from the Plan Malaysia and also local authority. We have already the monitoring and review and audit guideline in Selangor and also in Penang as well as in Kuala Lumpur. They are also going toward that. So this is actually the things that we need to have in our mind when we are actually planning for the certain big national development project. All right, and then I think this is actually toward the end of my presentation. The next is actually on the section to call for resilience. So next slide, please. Okay, so this is objective is actually to summarize synergy between the researchers and policymakers and to leave you with a concrete challenge. And next slide, please. I have 3 calls to action. Okay, so the first, I want to begin with a statement that I believe is absolute conviction. Innovation is a team sport. It requires technical minds, engineers, IT, and also policy minds from administrators, NGO leaders that working in tandem. All right. So there are 2 points here. The first is actually innovation is a team sport. So for too long, we have separated these 2 worlds. One on one side, engineers and researchers creating solution, and on the another side is actually administrators and policymakers managing system. The problem occurs when these 2 groups only met each other when the project is nearly finished. So we need to change the culture, invite policy experts into the lab from day one, invite engineers and technologists into community consultation from the day one, and only then can innovation produce impact that actually lasts. Okay, point number 2, from ad hoc to institutionalized. This is the biggest challenge that I observe in Malaysia today. We are exceptionally good at pilot projects. We design them, we do tests, and we present their result at conference. But moving from an ad hoc community project to an institutionalized, sustainable program with embedded governance, secure long-term funding, and a continuous accountable system, that is an entirely different challenge. And that is where we must focus our energy, not how many new projects that we can launch, but how many projects are still delivering real impact 2, 3, 5 years after the grant money runs out. So that is the true measure of sustainable innovation. And the point number 3 is actually engaging policy stakeholders early. So this, to my fellow researchers in this room, I want to offer a message that might be slightly uncomfortable. Do not wait until your research is complete before approaching policymakers. Do not wait until your journal article is published before briefing the ministry. Enter the policy conversation at the very beginning of the innovation life cycle. Attend technical committee meetings. Offer yourself as a resource person in policy process. Build relationship with senior ministry officials before you need them to endorse your findings. Because if we only show up when we have a result, we show up maybe too late. The decision have already been made. The budget have already been allocated, and our research become at best a footnote of someone else's policy document. Okay, so this is actually the last slide in closing. Ladies and gentlemen, allow me to leave you with one simple image. Okay, next slide, please. All right, so think of innovation as a seed, a good seed, full of potential, carefully developed, scientifically sound. But a good seed planted in hard, unprepared soil will not grow. So governance is the soil. SIA is how we test and improve the quality of the soil. And all of us, researchers, administrators, NGO leaders, private sector's partners are the farmers who must work together to ensure that seed not only grows but produce fruit that is shared by everyone. We have the seeds, we have the knowledge, what we need now is the collective will to prepare the grounds properly together. Thank you very much for your time, your attention, and your presence here today. And I am genuinely looking forward. Maybe if we have questions or insight and your pushback. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. And thank you again to Fakulti Sains Maklumat PERSIS IEEE CSS for having me. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Mazlan, for very insightful presentations. And your keynote has highlighted an important message. Innovation alone is not enough. For innovation to create meaningful and sustainable impact, it must be supported by effective governance, policies, and strong collaborations among stakeholders. And I was particularly interested in the discussions of social impact assessment just now, which remind us that the true success of any innovation should be measured not only by what it is created, but by the positive changes it brings to the communities and society. The presentation also reinforced the importance of partnership between researchers, policymakers, NGOs, industry, and local communities in ensuring that innovative ideas can be translated to sustainable and effective programs. Once again, thank you, Dr. Mazlan, for sharing your valuable insights and experiences with us today. And it has certainly provided us with much to reflect on, and as we continue our efforts towards innovation and entrepreneurship for a sustainable future. Thank you again, Dr. Mazlan. Ladies and gentlemen, having explored the perspective of technology, governance, and policy through our two distinguished speakers, we now turn our attention to the community dimensions of sustainable innovation. Our next keynote speaker, Dr. Adila, is with us physically today and will share valuable insight on how social innovation can connect communities and create meaningful impacts. Our third keynote speaker, Dr. Adila Mustafa, is a passionate academic and educator with extensive experience in information literacy, digital literacy, community engagement, and knowledge transfer initiative. She currently serves as a senior lecturer at the Faculty of Science, and beyond her academic responsibilities, Dr. Adila has actively contributed to numerous community engagement involving libraries, schools, local communities, literacy programs, and digital inclusion projects. Her work reflects the belief that knowledge should not remain within institutions but should be shared with communities to create meaningful and sustainable social impact. Today, she will be delivering a keynote lecture entitled Connecting Communities Through Social Innovation for a Sustainable Future. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming Dr. Adila Mustafa.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Very good morning to everyone. Thank you very much. So to begin with today, I would like to express my sincere grateful to PERSIS IEEE CSS Malaysia chapter for this opportunity to talk on basically the community connections and how to connect the community to social innovation, and at the final stage to achieve the sustainable future. Okay, for this morning, basically, let me introduce myself. A very brief introduction for myself. My name is Adila Mustafa. Basically, a senior lecturer in Fakulti of Information Science, UiTM. Currently involved in a few community engagement projects. To begin with, I would like to discuss, basically to open up some issues to talk about sustainable futures built not only with technology. Okay, I would like to emphasize and to acknowledge what has been discussed by our two speakers this morning, whereby we are more focusing on the technology of the IoT and some engineering parts. And I would like today to this section to take the opportunity to give some spotlight on the social parts, okay, where we do understand that technology and policies, the two main topics we discussed this morning, but we have to connect the community with care, collaborate, and innovate together. So this to say that we have to work together, okay, the industry, the technology, and the community, and it takes the whole ecosystem to work together to achieve the sustainable future. Okay, when I first get this title, okay, next slide. Okay, when I first get these topics, I was thinking about what to include in these very huge topics. Okay, because this is one of my passions of talking about community engagement, connecting to the community. This is what I've been doing so long. Okay, basically in teaching subjects which community engagement, this involved 110% commitment to how we can connect, getting people to buy our ideas, to get them to connect with us. Okay, looking at the topics, I would like to basically, okay, put some emphasis on community, how to engage with community, connecting with the community. Okay, let us look at only a glance of it's basically a poster that created by my best friend is AI. Okay, to share some idea. Okay, the elements that interconnected in this social innovation and community connections. Okay, number one, we look into the strong, okay, communities. Okay, we can't simply have a strong community without the help of so many people. Okay, number two, we talk about sustainable solutions. We have so many solutions, technological solutions. We have so many solutions to help us, especially for people from the IT, from the technology. Okay, who help us a lot in getting a sustainable solutions. And we talk about collaborative across sector. This is the most challenging part in doing community engagement project. To get people to buy what we are selling and they are interested, okay, to put some amount of money, a budget, okay, to run the project. Okay, thirdly is the innovative ideas. Innovative ideas not come alone only from the academics. Innovative ideas come from the industry together with the students and the community. So we are serving the community, we try to connect with them. The idea basically, most of the time come from them. Okay, and the inclusive participation. We would like to have everybody in the community to be part of the event or the activities. And finally, we are talking about shape the focus for future. We are looking into what we can do to help the community, and basically we trying to look into what we can help the next generations. So this is basically the social innovation that we are focusing, basically in Faculty of Information Science. Okay, we are doing it through a few projects. Next. Okay, so looking back at the title, why communities matter in the sustainable future? Okay, these are big questions to be asked to everyone, and everybody in the community need to have the answer. So this is an international issue, why we need the community. Okay, what happened recently is all challenges faced by the community. Okay, we as part of the community face this challenge. Okay, number one, okay, climate change. Okay, in normal community, we don't really address this climate change. Number two, digital inequality. This is the most things that we talk about a lot. Okay, the infographic shows us that there are gaps, okay, in the digital. That some are very lavish with digital gadget technology, and some are still in the area of needed a very serious help. Okay, number three, this economic instability. The recent economic conditions drive us to this era. Everybody is struggling. Okay, regardless whether you are T20, P40, M40, or whatever segregation of the community income or the nation income that we have, we still in this era. We still in this problem or in these particular issues. Okay, and the mental health and social isolation. These are the things that most of us take for granted. And we can see those people who are trying to take their own, commit to suicide and so various other things. So this is all because of mental health and this social isolation. So we need to put some attention to this. The community are in these issues. And finally, information disorder and misinformation. So we see that from information management or information science, this is where we can fit very well in the information disorder and misinformation. So looking into this opportunity, Faculty of Information Science or Faculty of this IS here, we try to look into how information can help. Okay, these challenges are very complex and they are interconnected to each other. When we look into the second one here, digital inequality, very related with the economics. And when you have economic disability, and you will have the mental issue there. Okay, when you have the mental issue, you can't simply recognize what is good, what is bad in the information. Okay, next. Okay, why things happen? Because sustainable development needs, okay, to be addressed by everyone. Sustainable development cannot be achieved by government alone. The government can't do everything by themselves. So look at the first infographic that we see that we need to work together. Okay, we will have so many parties to work together. The academia, with the campus discuss, the community, the NGOs should work together to achieve this sustainable development. Communities are the foundation of resilient society. So to build up the resilient society, we need to build up from the community, because community basically bring up a society. Okay, to have a very resilient society, we need a strong community, a strong foundation communities. Okay, and thirdly, social innovation create practical, inclusive, and people-centered solution. We have to work together with the community, because community is our target that needs more attention from us. Okay, people-centered solution build a better future for all. It can be looked through how we can say that developed country, how developed country develop their society, okay, through their communities. Okay, and it's a work is a work together from all departments in the government and NGOs and academia and so on. Okay, then. Okay, now come to the community. What is basically community? Most of us think community should be like, say, orang kampung. That is community. Yeah, community basically is not orang kampung. Right? In local popular drama series, it's called kampung people. Okay, so but we look into this community, a group of people who care for each other. If you are in a group of people who care about you, okay, work together and grow together to build a better future for all, and you are in a community. Okay, so there is a few characteristics of community: togetherness, support, belongings, and growth. If in that community inclusive of these four elements, then you are in a safe community. Okay, to understand community is very simple, but to understand their needs is quite complex. Okay, can I have next slide? Yeah, okay, this is basically to identify the community. Okay, a community is a network of individuals. It can be group or it can be organization. It's a community, yeah? Connected through a shared interest. You have the same interests. Okay, values, goals, and geographical context, who collectively participate in knowledge sharing, collaborations, and problem solving to improve social well-being and sustainable development. It's a very huge objective and definition, but you can look through the infographics. So the individual groups and organizations who work together, that we have the shared interests, okay, and shared value, shared goals, and basically community is a geographical context. Yeah, we live in the same community. Okay, what we can do to empower community is basically knowledge sharing, collaboration, and basically problem solving, and involve social well-being. Okay, to gain social well-being or to help in social well-being, basically we need a strong communication. Okay, that is the most important thing. And then equality and inclusion, so people will get involved and get to know everything. Okay, all right. Okay, next. Okay, next I will go to the social innovation. Okay, social innovation basically involves new ideas, practical solutions, better communication, so better communities, a sustainable future for all. Okay, look at the definition. It's basically how we can innovate something for the society, for a social purpose. Okay, this is just a definition. So I would like to go next. Okay, these are the characteristics of social innovation. Number one, it must be community driven. Number two, inclusive and participatory. Number three, sustainable scale, technology enabled. Okay, and finally, collaborative cross-sectional. Okay, I will go to the next slide. Okay, so looking into this title, as an academics and in charge in bringing the students to the community in UiTM. Okay, UiTM, we have this Sulam. Okay, Sulam is an initiative by Puncak in Malaysia under the Malaysian Education Blueprint for Higher Education. Okay, Sulam is basically bringing out the students to the industry. Okay, bring out the students to the community, so students will have more exposure. Okay, Sulam and UiTM is very significant in the matter of doing collaboration with university and community engagement. So there are a few elements that are enforced by UiTM, okay, which in this slide I will not elaborate so much because I have one more slide, okay, basically to tell you what we are doing. Okay, the first, connecting in this letter, I read a few colleagues, lecturers in teaching subject related to community. In this faculty, we have two course code, IML 511 and IML 633. Okay, 633 is public relation and community engagement. Okay, looking at the title that we know this is a community project. Okay, and number two is IML 511 is basically outreach and community services. These two subjects code is very related to what we are doing basically. So what we do, we connect, we find that one model is connect model. This framework is basically, it's not genuinely model that I took from anywhere. It's basically being developed by this group of lecturers. Okay, we look into how we can find one framework to fit and to match it with Sulam. Okay, Connect is basically taken from OECD and also Stanford universities or their initiatives on community engagement and social innovation. Okay, we take the Connect framework strengthen the implementation of Sulam by transforming community engagement into a sustainable social innovation ecosystem where universities, libraries, students, and communities collaboratively create meaningful and last impact. Okay, what we are doing basically is just to tell you a story of what is the functions among the functions of the program library and library management in Faculty of Information Science UiTM. This particular classical memorable library management program is one of the pioneers program in the faculty, and we can say the most biggest alumni in the library and information science professional come from this faculty. So historically, we are doing this for a long time. Okay, just now we try to put it in a framework to be more understandable. Okay, what we did, we have the Connect framework and we try to strategize it with Sulam. Okay, so we work together. We call upon library NGOs, okay, to collaborate with us and to be with the community. Okay, next slide. Okay, this is the model or the framework that we've been working on, and we are using this framework for our project. Okay, this framework basically uses Connect framework and align with Sulam. Okay, Service Learning Malaysia or University and Society. Okay, what we do basically, we understand the Connect and we try to look how we can use the framework, okay, to match with Sulam requirements. And basically, we try to contribute to the SDG. Okay, so next slide will show. Okay, this is the practice what we doing, the practice. Okay, this is the mapping type. Okay, it's not very theoretical, a very basic matrix that we use every time. Okay, collaborate. We try to find those who like to collaborate with us. Okay, and this is basically our achievement. Okay, our practice, and this is based on what we have been doing. Okay, on the collaborative, okay, Faculty of Information Science practice. Okay, students collaborate with local communities. Okay, and NGO, and what we are doing. Okay, our achievement, we collaborate with NASOM, we collaborate with MAB, and we collaborate with Perdana. Okay, this three NGO is basically, it's community, yeah? Okay, when we talk NGO, we can't say it's not a community. A community is a group of people also and associations. So we collaborate with this NGO in our events. Okay, number two, openness. Okay, we try to offer an open workshop, on some interesting topics. For example, we have open reading project, we have AI workshop, we have library literacy and library guide workshop. Okay, for the networking, so our practice, our achievement is basically we have a very wide collaboration with all the libraries in Malaysia. Okay, but we have to be very selective in doing collaboration because this is basically all the academic assessment practice. Yeah. Okay, so we have collaborated with Pustakaan Kuala Lumpur. We have collaboration with Perpustam, and also we have a very huge collaboration with PIPAS, Perdana Pustakaan Awam Selangor. Okay, on the networking, on the nurturing communities, yeah. Okay, we have conducted a few events here looking into the topics of information literacy, digital literacy, financial literacy, AI literacy, health literacy, and also family readings literacy. Okay, and in the empowerment, we have the community engagement. Okay, we have some critical and reflective writing. Okay, we also have social responsibility and empathy. Okay, strong social networking and also leadership and teamwork. Okay, in the creativity. Okay, in the activity, we have reading aids or reading guide apps. We create a reading aids apps to help the community on the creativity part. Okay, AI tools for SME or home-based entrepreneurship. And also we have sustainable gardening. Okay, and the transformation is basically we are looking into our graduate with rich community knowledge and strong potential in professional networking. Okay, this is what we aim to have in our graduates. So that's why we try to connect, to develop this connect framework with Sulam. Okay, next. Okay, next is to show our journey. Okay, what we have been doing for so many times. Okay, so this is what we are doing. Our journey in our community, connecting to the community and our social innovation. Okay, our journey basically involves building partnership and also empowering communities and transforming the life of the community. Okay, in 2023, we have our projects called Carnival Literacy Kuala Lumpur 2024. We collaborate with Pustakaan Kuala Lumpur PKL. Okay, in 2025, we have our collaboration with Perdana Pustakaan Awam Melaka Perpustam. Okay, we conducting carnival membaca keluarga Madya di Malaysia. Okay, in 2025 we with Perdana Pustakaan Awam Selangor PIPAS in Sabak Bernam district. We have InfoWise and DigitWise building skill for digital citizen. Okay, and in 2026 we have with PIPAS in Hulu Langat. We have library as a learning and fun hub. Okay, at PIPAS Hulu Langat. And we are about to have one more tomorrow. Okay, tomorrow we will have our in Kuala Langat. Okay, AI literacy ID experience at library. So this is what we have been doing, and what we will do is basically we are building a partnership. Okay, and we look into how we can transform the life of the community to be better. Okay, so can I have next slide? Okay, I've reached the end of my sharing today. So this is the conclusion that I feel that this is a quite comprehensive conclusion. which when we have completed the cycle of the Connect framework and we have linked it together with Sulam, and we see this is what we achieved. We have achieved a strong academia industry networking. Okay, we have that good relationship. And anytime we go to the industry, we said that can we have the opportunity to talk or to do event on certain subject or certain topic? They will say you are most welcome. We are looking forward to collaborate. Okay, so by that remarks that I see that, so we already have the strong academia and industry networking. Okay, number 2, student employability. But I take that as a last part, as the last point. Number 2, creating experience. So creating experience is basically one of the most expensive takeaway that we have. Okay, hands-on learning, real-world exposure, and experiential learning opportunity, which that is very rich that you can't have all in the classroom. Even though we are in this very smart classroom, we don't have that opportunity. So this opportunity, this learning is only through the community. You have to go beyond classroom, okay, to create the learning experience. Okay, number 3, UiTM and faculty reputation. Okay, we believe that by doing all this collaboration with the community, connect ourselves to the community, we see that we have basically put some advancing in our reputation, okay, enhancing our visibility, excellence in global recognition through impactful collaborations. Okay, my presentation, I did not include some international collaboration because I just would like to highlight in Sulam section. Okay, and finally, in the conclusion part, this is the utmost objective that we want to achieve is students' employability. We try to enrich the students with so many community knowledge, okay, the NGO approach, NGO experience, and we believe that we have equipped students with the skill, competencies, and confidence for future career. Okay, and rating whatever experience that they have, skill they gain from the industry, they have a very wide experience meeting with the professional out there. Because when our graduates go to meet the head of department, the chief librarians, the CEO of some libraries and information centers in some organization, so they are meeting their super seniors. So indirectly, the knowledge transfer from the seniors to the juniors happen, okay, and strengthen the collaborations, strengthen the silaturahim, and at the same time, we see that it basically enhance and bring up the reputation of the faculty to the nations, and we hope to have a stronger connections future with international collaborators. Okay, so by this, I would like to thank everyone for listening to this sharing experience. Okay, the next slide is basically is for Q&A. So thank you very much for listening. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you, Dr. Adina, for very inspiring and engaging presentation. Very important messages. Number 1, sustainable development is not driven by technology and policies alone, but by strong, connected communities that work together to address shared challenges and create meaningful change. And I particularly appreciate the emphasis on social innovation as a community-driven approach that bring together individuals, institutions, and stakeholders to develop practical and inclusive solutions for the society needs. And the example just now demonstrate how collaboration can transform ideas into real impact. Overall, Dr. Adila keynotes remind us that lasting impact is achieved when communities are empowered, partnerships are strengthened, and innovation is guided by the needs of people and society. Once again, thank you, Dr. Adila, for sharing your valuable insights and experiences with us today. A very inspiring session. Ladies and gentlemen, we have now heard three insightful presentations covering the three aspects, covering technology, and then governance and policy, and finally community empowerment. So before we proceed to the next phase, the Q&A session, I would like to invite everyone to reflect on a very simple question. Daripada tiga pembentanan tadi, apa pandangan tuan-tuan, puan-puan yang hadir berkaitan dengan which is more challenging? Developing an innovation, or probably governing the innovation, or sustaining the impacts of the innovation within the community. Yang mana satu agaknya yang memberikan ataupun yang memberikan gambaran. Okay. May I now invite all three keynote speakers to join us for the Q&A session. Before we begin, I would like to thank our online speaker, the two speakers just now, Associate Professor Dr. Sabtullah Izam, Jemputan, and Dr. Mazlan Piso, for remaining with us for this panel session online. Dan bersama kita adalah Dr. Adila yang ada di sini physically. Baiklah, sekiranya ada sebarang soalan daripada peserta kita yang melalui Google Meet, minta sekretariat chat sekiranya ada sebarang soalan. Dan of course, for our physical audiences, participants, we have about 15 of them here. If you have any questions, saya buka kepada ruang soalan. Okey, kita akan hadkan beberapa soalan sahaja. Memandangkan sekarang pukul 11.70 pagi. Okey, saya buka kepada soalan. Is there any questions? Online question? Okay, I have one question here. One question for Dr. Samsul Aizam. Dr. Samsul, here.
Okay.
Okay. Soalannya, how can universities ensure that research output and technological innovation are effectively translated into real benefits for community?
Okay, thank you, Doctor, for the nice question. So, based on my experience, first, what you need to know is the level of the students. So, because the level of student will determine is it the works can be translated to the community or not able to translate to the community. Because as we know, as an academician, we have so many types of students, undergraduate, masters, PhD, and sometimes we have a postdoc students. So first, yes, the first thing is we need to know the levels. So because not every PhD programs, PhD student can be translated to the communities environment, can transfer the knowledge because it's very high mathematical equation, very high knowledge that need required and very specific first person. So for me as an academician in UiTM, and also we are basically, as we know, UiTM is a TVET university. So we encouraged by the our administrator, our Naib Chancellor, everyone at the tops, admin in UTSM, we need to translate to the community. So to translate the community, for me, I'm using basically the level of for undergraduate up to masters only. So this is how I use the capability of the student itself in order to remain in the communities relevant to the community, because I know communities doesn't need to have a very high knowledge, high precision system, high precision mathematical. So at least they can have some day-to-day problem solution. So this is what I'm thinking of. What the question given to you.
So, maksudnya di sini tidak semua yang research output ataupun technological innovation yang akan translate kepada community, but it depends on the level of students and probably their achievements as well, achievements of the project.
Agree with you.
Okay, terima kasih. Now we have one question from Fizikal.
Hello.
Okay, yeah.
Okay. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I have one question to Dr. Mazlai. So basically, I just want to know what is the practical strategy for the researchers to effectively gather and integrate this local knowledge, especially in the indigenous community. Because basically, they are refused. Sometimes they are refused to accept any social innovations because they are afraid for their future generations. So, what is the practical strategies for researchers to engage with them? Okay, thank you.
Dr. Mazlan, boleh dengar tu?
If I can recall back, the question is actually asking about the practical strategies, okay, towards practical strategies to us the researchers on apa ni apa tadi saya tak boleh nak dengar sangat.
Practical strategies for the researcher to engage with the community.
Okay, with the communities.
Indigenous community.
Indigenous communities, since probably some of them they are rejected.
Rejection.
Yes.
Okay. Alright. Okay, thank you for the questions. I believe that di kumpulan rentan ataupun ada sometimes kita panggil juga kumpulan terancam, is actually one of the group that might be yang kita kena tackle very subtle, okay, because this group is actually sometimes they fill the gap between us, the researchers, but then I think I have maybe based on my very little experience in engaging with them, we need the problem that we have now is actually sometimes we already have the decision, on maybe kalau I talk from the social impact assessment lah, my experience kan, we have already decision that been made already. Okay, so then only we actually nak engage dengan mereka. So sometimes for me the best strategy is actually always to engage very early at the beginning of process of the project and whatnot. So mana kata at the problem identification stage tu lagi. Kalau boleh, di situ kita dah start. Not merely during data collection, then only we know the problem, then only lah kita nak engage. So kalau boleh, we want that community should help us to refine their research priorities, question and also expected outcome. So, and then kalau boleh kita need to build rapport lah. Kita kena build relationship before kita punya research. Kita kena invest lah kita punya time, because I think the trust is actually the most kata important things. Kita nak kena few times buat repeated visits, get engaged through informal discussion, and then kita juga maybe boleh participate in the community activities, because trust is actually often more important than methodology lah, I believe, in determining the research success. Because kalau dia trust kita, then they are willing to share as much as possible. And kita juga maybe kena recognize indigenous knowledge as a legitimate evidence. Kita kena work through local gatekeepers. So because macam ada sekali saya untuk yang one project di Pahang on kata nak propose untuk bina water treatment punya logi, we need to go and engage with kata orang asli. So we need to go through the Jabatan Kemudian Orang Asli Jakwa, we need to go through Tok Batin, and then community elders, and then only I think PERSIS is actually the best in this aspect. I think like our Deputy President Dr. Nurul is actually the one that work very well with the indigenous, with the people that kata in the rentan group. So and then of course kita kena use research participatory research approach lah, kata. And then kita kena move daripada research on community, kita kena go towards to the new alignment, I think, research with communities. Teknik seperti yang participatory mapping, focus group, co-design workshop, citizen science can also increase the ownership lah. And then I think kita kena ensure lah free, prior and informed consent, and kita share benefit and results with them. And then kita jangan habis kat situ saja, I believe. Kita kena establish long-term partnership with them, because kalau boleh kita avoid lah helicopter research, mana researcher tu cuma appear bila data tu diperlukan. So because macam contohnya yang kat Pakar dekat kapal, for us our group we still maintain the repo, sebabnya kalau kata we do with the development project, the project tu
ada grow over the scalp 1 darab 1 cm berdarah. Prefer dapat stick. Nak kita buat apa? Kan? Nak biopsi kan?
Nanti saya hantar terus plastik lah. Saya beri apa nanti.
Okay. Alright. Okay, so because the construction, for instance, took 4 to 5 years. So kita masih lagi kena engage dengan mereka, because our job walaupun as a consultant mungkin katanya dah habis with the client, but then they sometimes still communicate and also asking us for some things, clarification or help. So I believe that is maybe one of the way lah that kita kena the people lah, dia akan always the most successful research lah pada saya ialah involving kalau indigenous communities atau kumpulan yang rentan atau kumpulan mudah terancam ni. It's not when researchers that collect the most data that we want, but then it is when the community feel that they have become genuine partners in generating knowledge and shaping solutions. So this is actually what we call as innovation is all about. Okay, so I think that is actually maybe my limited view on this one. Thank you very much.
Terima kasih Dr. Mazlan. So tips tadi pertama kena build rapport, jangan tersenggol, projek mestilah ada follow up dari model yang digunakan oleh PERSIS di Kuala Bengoy. Terima kasih dan projek Nurul itu. Baiklah bagaimana proses berlaku dari awal lagi dan sampai sekarang masih continuously kita follow up dan kita ada extension daripada projek-projek tersebut. Ya, terima kasih atas soalan dan juga jawapan yang saya kira berikan tips yang amat baik untuk bagaimana kita approach golongan-golongan. Okey, ada lagi soalan yang saya boleh taruhkan? Ya, Dr. Lainnya, soalan yang ketiga.
Assalamualaikum. Saya punya agak simple saja.
berkenaan kalau boleh berkenaan yang Dr. Adila ada kerja silam, di mana kita tahu nak handle satu projek komuniti bersama involvement pelajar dan juga ada involvement dengan NGO, komuniti setempat dan juga beberapa mungkin supporting agensi kan. It's not easy to settle everything in a place dalam satu masa. Jadi cuma saya nak tahu daripada pengalaman yang telah dikendalikan beberapa projek silam, apakah cabaran yang paling sekali yang hebat ataupun any experience that can be share for untuk pensyarah-pensyarah lain yang mungkin akan handle jugalah projek-projek silam. Terima kasih.
Terima kasih pada Dr. Madya. Sharing the experience, I can say every part of this event or activity is challenging. But when you finish it, you have the wraps up. Okay, we have the it's a rank. All the hard work are paid off. You've forgotten everything what we have faced. But the most challenging part is basically, I would say, we have almost everyone have the things. Basically, it's the financial issue. That is the biggest challenges. Okay, but Alhamdulillah, with because we're doing the student activity, students will they have their own fund, okay, to cover up some basics requirement, okay, and partly I believe that every individual working with communities, we have this so-called lillah ta'ala, okay. When we work in a community, we have this so-called lillah ta'ala, which is we try not to define it anywhere, okay. But other than that, the challenges that we have is try to gain trust from those industry, okay, to gain trust, because working with big organization, big libraries, for example, like Perpustakaan Kuala Lumpur PKL, okay, they have their own reputation taken care of, and they need to have some confirmations that this activity will have impact to their performance. Okay, and same thing go to Perdana Perpustakaan Awam Melaka. Okay, Melaka is a historical space. Okay, there's so many people go in, out, tourists go in, out to the to other library. So gaining the trust, okay, we are bringing up students. We take students to them. We don't bring professional to them. We bring students. Students, we do understand that they have so many shortcomings. Okay, so how do we address our quality, students' quality, to ensure that they confident of our proposal? Okay, that is among others. Okay, getting NGO collaboration is not that challenging. I will say that because NGO also need collaboration. Okay, but I would say among others, the most happening event that we have is in Perpustakaan Kuala Lumpur. We have a big group of students. We have a good collaborators. Okay, we have Malaysian Blind Association and maybe Malaysian Blind Association. So these are the experience that we learn from these special groups. Okay, the students feel like, oh, how we should be so grateful of life. we learn a lot from them. And of course, we have a very wonderful collaborator in Persatuan Kuala Lumpur. Okay, so in terms of funding, we don't have any problem with them. And in terms of the amenities, the locations, very strategic. But I also had to address proposal. Okay, a big event, and we are very lucky to have those. We have our Dato' Syarin for the officiate, and we will have members of Belaka, okay, for the opening ceremony. And our most biggest collaborator is Badan Sakaryawan Selangor Kipas. Okay, perkataan dia tak serai dia tak serai dengan kita. They always open their doors to us to do whatever event related to the community and involvement of our students. Okay, I think that is all I can share with you on the student development and community engagement. Thank you very much.
Terima kasih. Banyak kes yang dikongsikan tadi. Soalannya adalah, adakah kita sanggup untuk melaksanakan? Okey, untuk itu saya nak juga buka satu soalan kepada ketiga speaker kita. Ini soalan penutup, manakala masa dah pukul 11.40. Soalan penutup tu you, sekiranya terdapat satu pesanan ataupun satu nasihat yang ingin anda kongsikan, terutamanya kepada golongan muda, saya masih muda juga, yang bercita-cita untuk menjadi ejen perubahan melalui inovasi dan pembangunan komuniti. Apa agaknya pesanan tersebut? Saya ulang sekali lagi ya. Sekiranya ada satu pesanan ataupun nasihat pada ketiga keynote speaker kita pada hari ini, kepada generasi muda ataupun sesiapa yang ingin menjadi ejen perubahan masyarakat melalui aktiviti sosial, innovation, melalui pembangunan komuniti, apa agaknya pesanan ataupun nasihat tersebut? Boleh Dr. Samsul Azlan boleh share bagi tips apa yang pesanan?
Okay, terima kasih Doktor. Okay, for the tips lah. So for the tip for the younger generation, what I can say basically is you need to look on your, let's say if you want to make a innovation to the community, kita kena lihat yang paling dekat dengan kita lah. So we cannot innovate difference lah. Contoh, currently maybe we heard about drones, kita tengok macam mana berlaku war, this war. So jangan tengok is very big angle lah. So for me in UiTM kami pun UiTM we have a local problem. So local problem basically apa yang kami di UiTM ni adalah SME lah, small medium industry ni. So untuk kepada untuk kepada tips lah, saya mencadangkan for the youngest generation. I know most of you are innovator. You want to be a good innovator. You want to invented something new, but don't look in very big problem or very far problem. Look just around you, because around us there's still a lot of problem that we can solve. So masalah ni cannot be a very semestinya masalah ni kena a good one. Maybe a small problem also be benefit to everyone lah. So that's my suggestion to innovator, to invent a new let's say, tak tahulah, saya pun tak tahu, maybe in 5-10 years, because 5-10 years we are going for me dah di pencen, so we want to see new coming what they call technology but for a small, for the local problem. Tu saya punya cadangan lah, jangan tengok terlalu besar, don't aim too big, but aim small but result is big. Itu nasihat saya.
Okay, terima kasih. Dr. Mazlan?
Okay, thank you Dr. So my humble advice untuk yang kumpulan youth kita kalau boleh don't see innovation tu semata-mata just about you talking about new invention ataupun penciptaan new technology. So pada saya inovasi yang sebenar tu ialah that happen bila your idea tu betul-betul mampu selesaikan masalah sebenar masyarakat, macam yang Dr. Samsul Aizam sebut tadi kan. So hari ni ramai anak muda dia nak mencipta aplikasi platform digital ataupun mungkin nak venture new product. Okey, itu baik tapi sebenarnya kita kena tanya balik apa teknologi yang saya mau bina, rather than kita tanya soalan tu, kita mungkin tanyalah dulu apa masalah komuniti yang saya nak selesaikan. So kalau kita nak jadi agent perubahan, change agent, so kita kena turun ke lapangan, kena faham the real issue dekat lapangan. Kita kena jumpa masyarakat, kita kena dengar dia punya voice, faham dia punya challenges, and then sama-sama kita bina solution. Jadi inovasi yang kita bina bersama komuniti ni akan lebih sustainable rather than kita just inovasi yang dibina daripada bilik mesyuarat semata-mata. So saya juga nak ingatkan bahawa perubahan bukan hanya memerlukan idea yang hebat. Ia memerlukan integriti, kesabaran dan keupayaan pekerja dan pihak termasuk kerajaan, NGO, sektor swasta dan komuniti. Sebab tu saya tekankan bahawa innovation is a team sport, macam saya sebut tadi kan. So dia bukannya individual punya race, so dia adalah merupakan team race. So akhir sekali bagi saya, kita anak muda sekarang ni kadang-kadang terlalu fokus nak jadi viral dengan TikTok, dengan apa. So yang penting ialah fokus kepada apa yang jadi value, apa nilai sebenarnya. Mungkin projek kita tak dapat ribuan like di media sosial, tapi ia berjaya ubah kehidupan sebuah kampung, sebuah sekolah atau pulang belia. Itulah bagi saya inovasi sebenar, dan itulah makna sebenar jadi ejen perubahan. So jangan kejarlah closer, saya sebut sini, jangan kejar untuk cipta teknologi yang paling canggih, tapi kejarlah untuk mencipta impak yang paling bermakna dalam kehidupan kita. So itu saja Dr. Thank you very much.
Terima kasih. Okay, last one, Dr. Adila.
Kepada yang berminat ataupun nak berjinak dengan komuniti, social innovation, community engagement, connection. Okay, nombor satu, saya akan cakap di Hibrid Serangkit. Pun ke bawah, ikut bersama komuniti, lihat apa yang komuniti itu perlu. Saya tak nak kata looking at the literature is very important. Saya pun tak nak deny the importance of literature. Okay, academically, we look into literature, what are people talking around the world. But you have to be rooted lah, negara kita ni bukannya banyak sangat orang nak tulis tentang masalah komuniti kan. So what you have to do, go straight to the community and ask them. Okay, ramai daripada kita tak nak pergi ni, kita nak tengok daripada jauh dan cuba agak-agak apa masalah komuniti ni. Lepas tu nak buat itu. Tak boleh I would say tu. Please go, be rooted, be grounded. Okay, put yourself together with them. Duduklah dengan dia 12 jam, minum pun tak apa. Dia cerita, nanti you akan nampak apa masalah tu. Okay, so saya nampak dekat sini kalau anybody yang dia pandai, provoke, dia dapatlah banyak insights on what community need. Okay, listening to people good, reading on literature good, but pergi jumpa the community. Okay, and then kalau pergi jumpa community, ada benda kita kena korbankan Okay, kita kena belajar ilmu baru. Okay, how to be humble. How to set yourself together with, for example, the indigenous people. Kita bukan kata indigenous tak pandai, dia lagi pandai daripada kita sebenarnya. They are good in their own environment. We have our community also do, everybody have the same things. I agree dengan Dr. Masa tadi, okay, memang kita kena betul-betul faham apa yang community nak. It's not about apa yang kita nak. Okay, macam kita nak viral kan Dr. Masa kan? Tapi komuniti tak kisah pun you viral ke tidak. What we can bring to the community and look into what changed. Because you have to be the game changer, kan? So you have to see what you will change. Basically, also the impact that we will create. Okay, terima kasih.
Ladies and gentlemen, as we come to the end of our this program, we are reminded that innovation is not merely about creating new ideas, products, or technologies. The true innovation is measured by its ability to improve lives, strengthen communities, and contribute to a more sustainable and inclusive society. So our today's discussion has highlighted the importance of connecting technology, governance, policy, and community engagement in order to create meaningful and lasting impact. And as we leave this program, may we continue building bridge between academia, industry, government agencies, NGOs, and communities so that innovation can extend beyond our institutions and benefit society as a whole. On behalf of the organizer, I would like to extend our sincere appreciation to all keynote speakers, representatives of PERSIS and IEEE CSS Malaysia, our collaborative partners, the Faculty of Information Science, as well as all participants who have joined us today, both physically and virtually. Thank you for your participation, engagement, and support. And we look forward to welcoming you again in the future edition of our PERSIS IEEE CSS Malaysia Keynote Lecture Series. Wabillahi taufiq wal hidayah. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. The secretary will display the attendance, seating, and e-certificates to us.
Terima kasih.
For the physical audience, measure of our sincere appreciation and gratitude, saya mempersilakan Timbalan Dekan Akademik Dr. Iwan untuk menyampaikan cenderamata atau tokens of appreciation kepada pembentang atau speaker yang hadir bertabilah, dan yang lain juga melalui online kita akan sampaikan kepada wakilnya. So our first speaker Dr. Aizam, wakil kepada Dr. Samsul Aizam, silakan. Okay. Wakil Dr. Samsul Aizam. Wakil. Persis nanti juga wakil. Wakil. Dan yang kedua Dr. Mazlan, wakilnya.
Oh, tuan saya tu. Selepas tu.
Okay, dan yang ketiga Dr. Adilah. Silakan. Okay, minta pihak kursi untuk share kasih lagi links di attendance. Okay, terima kasih. Terima kasih.